begin recording. I want to check the attendance. Is Daniel Wanjala in?
I'm in, Mwalimu.
Bethwell, are you in? Sophie, are you in?
Yes.
Yes, I am, Mwalimu.
Yes, I can hear you, Bethwell. Thank you for joining. I see almost all of us are here. So I'll begin immediately with my screen sharing. I'll be taking you through the unit of competence known as farm layout. Last time we were discussing about farm structures, and I told you what farm structures are. So this day, today, I want to go directly to the topic farm layout. Now, to the learning outcomes, we will be defining the term farm layout. We will be stating the importance of farm layout. We'll also explain the factors to consider when setting up a farm layout. But what we'll do right now is begin with the definition of farm layout so that you can be able to understand what it is. So farm layout is basically the location and arrangement of the farm buildings, fields, water systems, soil conservation structures, etc. There are very many things in the farm. So just the location and arrangement of them, especially in relation to one another, how are they placed in relation to one another is a very important thing. And it is something that we should consider, especially as agricultural economists. Now, what is the importance of having a farm layout? So, Daniel, can you read for us the importances of having a farm layout? Daniel, what is the importance of having a farm layout?
Importance, number one,
Yes.
it has profound impact on the efficiency of land, labor, and machinery utilization. Point two, the wastage on time.
Yes.
And point number three, wastage of labor effort in working.
Okay.
And lastly, wastage of land farming in business, and all farmers should aim at minimizing input.
Thank you very much, Dan. What basically we are saying is having a farm layout, it helps have an impact on the efficiency of land. It also helps on reducing wastage on time. So you can be able to move from one place to another. It also helps in reducing the wastage of labor, especially from walking. So that, for example, when you want to cut your napier grass, you don't have to walk long distances to the cow shed or the cow unit. The napier grass should be near the cow unit. And also wastage of land. As farmers, of course, we should aim at maximizing profit. So we need to have a good farm layout in order not to waste land. Now, what are the factors to consider when planning a farm layout? Number one is climatic factors. These are the most important climatic factors that determine the selection and establishment of enterprise, rainfall, temperature, and wind. These ones are the most important factors. So there are some enterprises which require a lot of moisture. Others like coconut require hot climate. The wind direction will determine where certain enterprises should be sited in relation to farmhouses. For example, a cow, we know that it will be around east to west so that the animals can have maximum sunlight. And also the orientation for greenhouses. We know that animal houses, dips, and anything that produces fall odors should not be sited on the leeward side of the farmhouse. This is because the odor will be swept directly into the houses, which will create, of course, discomfort. The second factor we need to look at when planning a farm layout is the soil type. So soil which is well drained and fertile should be allocated for arable farming. The less fertile soil should be given to grazing and growing of trees. Of course, don't give the less fertile soil to, for example, building of cow sheds, building of the house. The more fertile soil should be given to crops, and then the less fertile soil should be given to houses. Number three, you also need to consider the topography. So flat land is allocated for field crops so that cultivation implements can be easily used. You don't put animals on slopy land. Probably they can fall and injure themselves. You plant crops there. And the steep areas should be terraced and used either for growing tree crops and animals. And mostly we grow crops such as tea, etc. And then accessibility to all fields. All areas where the enterprises are to be established should be accessible from the farmstead and the workers' quarter. So there should be short road distances, which will be established between one field to another, and also the farmstead. You should not walk for long distances when you want to access your crops or your animals. Point number 5, communication and other amenities. The farmhouse should be sited in such a way that it is near and accessible to the main road, electricity supply, and telephone line. Now, point number 6, Sophie, can you read for us?
The size of the farm, where several suitable enterprises can be established on a large scale farm. A small scale farm can hold only a few enterprises. In the latter case, farmer could have only one enterprise when the land is too small.
Thank you very much, Sophie. The size of the farm should also be considered. When you have very big size of land, you can arrange it anyhow, probably just because you have land. But when you have small, you need to put more consideration on it. Point number 7. Bethwell, if you can hear me, kindly read for us.
Point number 7, government regulations. There are certain regulations which control establishment of the enterprises on the farm. In Kenya, the area along the river bank is not supposed to be cultivated. Nowadays, a forest which has mainly indigenous trees should not be cleared without permission officers when they want to establish coffee because of quota systems.
Thank you very much. Basically, what we are saying is there are areas that have regulations. For example, what we call the riparian land, the land that is around water bodies, especially rivers, it should not be cultivated. 30 meters from the river is riparian land, belongs to the government. And also these days, especially if you have indigenous trees, not the ones that we grow, you need to notify the government. And you need to get permission from the forestry officers so that they can be able to cut it. And then point number 8, Amoit, if you can hear me, kindly read for us point number 8. Amoit, can you hear me? Kiprotich Dominic, can you hear me? Can you read for us point number 8?
Okay, point number 8. This is about security, and there are certain enterprises which must be established near the farmhouse. That is the milking shed, the calf pens, and the poultry house should be sited near the farmhouse because they need very close supervision. Likewise, the garage in which implements are kept during the night should be sited near the farmhouse.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dominic. Basically, what we are saying, or what Dominic has read, is you need to consider where you're placing the most critical enterprises, especially the ones that have are prone to be affected by insecurity. For example, calf pens, poultry, you put them up in a place where you can be able to access and see them. Don't put your poultry houses far away from the house. In case anything happens, you're not be able to know. So just place them near. When you're planning a farm layout, you need to have a rotation program, and it will depend on the enterprises selected. For example, if you have maize and you're planting maize on this land, you can rotate it with beans for the next season and then plant maize on the part of land that beans had. So a good rotation program is very key in planning a farm layout, and it will help to improve the productivity of the land. For example, monocropping causes a lot of loss of fertility and is not good. So you need to consider a very good farm layout that can be able to at least increase your productivity. I am through with my lesson. Any questions so far? I am. Daniel, can you read for us the assignment? Daniel, can you hear me? Kindly unmute and read for us the assignment.
Okay. The assignment: explain steps involved in developing a farm layout.
So I expect that by the next lesson, you will have submitted it. It will carry marks for your cut. I want it hand typed and submitted to the class rep by the end of the next lesson. So thank you very much for your time. See you in the next class.
Thank you very much, Mario.
Asante.
Mhm.
See you in the next class.